Hey, I wanted to do a video today, but I was going to do it as a short, but then I realized that you'd be missing out on a whole lot of how to make this. So I decided to just do a regular video. This is my buttermilk cornbread. And it is a very tender, very wonderful cornbread. It's not sweet. I know a lot of people like sweet, but this one's not sweet. Anyway, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make this buttermilk cornbread. It is the most requested thing that I get from my family and friends. They love the cornbread. They say it's to die for. So let me show you how I make this cornbread real quick, and hopefully it's not going to be a real long video. I will do it as quickly as I can, and there's really not a whole lot of steps. You need some white cornmeal mix, and today I am using what I have left in my White Lily buttermilk cornmeal, white cornmeal. You will need a stick of butter, a whole onion, some whole buttermilk, and this one is the Bulgarian style buttermilk, some oil, and today I'm using canola oil, and 2 eggs, which there's my 2 eggs. That's pretty much it. So let's get into this. Let me show you how to make this, and then I want to hear in the comments what you think of it after I show you what it looks like. And it's just amazing flavor. So let's get into this. Okay, here's the first step, y'all. And this is probably the most important step. And I know it seems like, oh, why would this be the most important step? But it is. The most important step is to beat the eggs. And you really, really got to beat them. Like, I have not changed how I do this recipe because the results speak for themselves. So, I beat this egg thoroughly, these 2 eggs, and until they get light and airy. And I will do that, and I will come back. And it takes me a few minutes, so let me skip ahead on that. Okay. See how it's bubbly and light and airy? Okay, so honestly, I don't know how much oil I use, so I'm going to eyeball this as I'm going to use a measuring cup so that I can give y'all a little bit better precise. But I never use a measuring cup, ever. I just go by how it looks. Alright, that's a 1/2 cup. Let's hope I don't mess this up. So, a little under a cup of oil. Okay. And that may be a little bit too much. I would say 3/4 of a cup, you know. And then we're going to continue beating it. Now, can you do this with a mixer? You absolutely could. But when you get to the part where you add the oil to the egg, you want to watch. Because if you use a mixer and the oil and the egg and you just keep blending it and mixing it with a mixer, you're going to end up with, and you know, walk away and you're just not paying attention to it and it's blending away. You're going to end up with mayonnaise. It'll turn white. It'll be mayonnaise. And that's fine. I'm sure, you know, you could still use it, but it would be mayonnaise. So let me do this for a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, something I forgot to mention is you need to preheat your oven. to 425 degrees. You need to put your cast iron skillet in the oven. Nothing in it, just put it in the oven. The cast iron skillet needs to preheat as well. We will be pulling it out, and we will open the oven, and you're going to throw a stick of butter in there, but not yet. I'll tell you when. Alright, this is starting to thicken a little bit, which is what I want to see. I want to see it starting to thicken, but not turn into a white mayonnaise. Okay, now it's pretty thick. Now what I do is I'm going to add in a whole chopped onion. And I'm also making a tuna casserole. But, I mean, it's like just a recipe that I make. And I can show that along with this. I mean, they're pretty simple, but it's a comfort food. It's a good comfort food, and it's a good casserole to feed the family and feed, feed a crowd. I put some water on the stove, and put some salt in it. Start boiling the water. Throw some macaroni in there. You can use a cheap box of macaroni and cheese and make up the macaroni and cheese. Except my macaroni and cheese, I will also add milk to it with the box macaroni and cheese, and add like sliced Velveeta, and then a big handful of some sharp cheddar cheese. Once that all melts together, then I throw the noodles in it. And it's really good. The box powder or the liquid, if you use the squeeze out cheese type. Throw that in a pan with some milk and some sliced cheese and some cheddar cheese. Get it all good and thick and mixed, and then throw it in, salt and pepper. Throw your macaroni in there, and really good macaroni and cheese. But that's how I do mine. Like I never, mine is thick and creamy. It's never dry. I hate the box macaroni and cheese by itself, not made the way that I make it, because I don't know, I don't like it. I prefer a thick and creamy, cheesy macaroni and cheese. Okay. Again, I'm going to say that we're getting at least a cup and a quarter of buttermilk. And we're going to give it a good mix. Fairly simple after this. And if you think you don't have enough liquid, you can always add more liquid to it if you don't think you got enough. And now I'm going to pour in some of my tuna mix. And I know everyone's like, okay, it's just cornbread. It is just cornbread, but it's the best tasting cornbread you've ever had. And I remember my great-grandmother in Cookeville, Tennessee, watching her in the kitchen mixing in a mixer bowl like this. This is a big 8-cup measuring cup glass. I remember watching her stand there and mix, beat those eggs. And then, I went home and I started experimenting. How am I going to get the best tasting cornbread? This is it. And it's not me just bragging on my food. This is me telling you that everybody brags on my cornbread. Everybody brags on my food. They want me to open a restaurant, but, you know, I would have to be the one there cooking all the time. And, I don't think I would enjoy cooking as much if I had to do it, like, all the time. So, okay. There we go. That's the texture we want to see right there. Alright. At this point, this is when you want to open your butter and throw it in your cast iron skillet and let it melt. You're going to let this rest for a few minutes while your butter melts. And I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Let's take a look at my macaroni and cheese sauce. This is milk, the powder from the macaroni and cheese sauce box, 6 slices of some sharp Velveeta sliced cheese, and I would say a quarter of a block off of this cheese here. It was 1 pound, and I cut that much of it off, and I threw it in here. And this is just mild cheddar. I usually use sharp, but this is what I have. And we're going to mix it up. See? Rich and creamy. Once you get it all mixed up, salt and pepper. I love pepper, so mine is very peppery. But then I'm going to add in the macaroni, and it's going to be delish. But this is just the first part to making my tuna casserole. That was 2 boxes of macaroni, by the way. It is just a Walmart brand macaroni and cheese. That's all there is. Okay, this is literally hot, and I can't get any closer than that without melting the camera or my tripod. But here we go. Pour it in. And it's okay if the butter's on the top. It's fine. It envelops the cornbread. And you want a good seasoned skillet too. Okay. Now we put it in the oven. Okay, I am cooking some mushrooms to go in my tuna casserole. And you don't have to. If you don't like mushrooms, you don't use mushrooms. Don't be afraid to add and subtract in your cooking. I mean, it's all about experimenting and finding out what you like. You know, the way I cook, you may not like it. You know, I can only tell you what people tell me. That they like my food, they enjoy my food. That, I mean, and this has been everybody, and I hate to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm telling you what people have told me, what people like. They like the food that I make, and it tastes good, and it's not gourmet meal by no means. It's not gourmet meal. It is totally Southern comfort food. Most of it is very, very comfort food. I do make some healthy foods, but a lot of what I make is easy, good old Southern comfort food, and that's why everybody likes it, because it's comfort food. So, don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to add an ingredient that you really like. You know, think outside the box when you're cooking. You know, think what flavors go really good together. That's how I do a lot of my cooking. A lot of the recipes that I create are by thinking, hey, what flavors do I know go really good together? And I go from there. These are baby bellas, by the way. So I'm just going to add, because I love the sauteed baby bellas. I'm sauteing them in some butter. Okay, I'm just going to leave these set. I've got my macaroni and cheese done. My cornbread is in the oven. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to take my glass casserole dish and spray it down with some cooking spray, and I'll be back. Okay, here we go. A good layer of the macaroni and cheese. We're going to put this in here in layers, y'all. So, it's going to be macaroni and cheese, tuna, and some, first, where'd my spoon go? There. So, the macaroni and cheese goes first. And some cream of chicken or cream of mushroom soup. I'm going to actually be using both. Cream of chicken and cream of mushroom. And you can use whatever you like. But I'm going to use both. This is a brainer. So, comfort food. I ended up with two different types of tuna, and that's fine. One with water, one with oil. But you can use whatever you want, or you can use chicken. Actually, some people use chicken. It's actually good with chicken too. Canned shredded chicken, and we're just gonna put some of the tuna in there. I'm using this piece of and the frozen. And they are listening to fresh. I love the peas. And they have an amazing flavor. So I use frozen peas. If you've never had them, I highly suggest it, because just take like the pea out and pipe this up. Oh. Now, let me dry my hands. I don't want it. Now, some shredded cheddar. And you can change the chicken. You can change the cheese. If you like spicy food, you could put spicy cheese on there. You know, like I said, think outside the box. Make it your own. Make food. Make good food. America needs to get back to cooking home, cooking for your family, gathering around the table, having a good meal together, enjoying each other's company, checking in on your kids, and knowing what's going on with them. You know, that's the fabric of America. Yep, I'm on the box. Sorry, I just something I feel strong about. You know, and I'm not just putting this all on mamas. You know, not at all, because they can cook too. I've got sons that cook very well. And for kids, can eat really good when dad's around to cook. He's not working. It's, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure I'm night shift, but they all do. Anyway. But yeah. Mamas, daddies, everybody. You need to bring your family home. And bring your family home for dinner. There you go. There's your campaign slogan. Bring your family home for dinner. Home cooked meals should be something much rare. You know, you could do this with that salmon stuff. Salmon? You know, some sort of salmon? You like that? Salmon in a can? Put ground beef on it too. Do whatever, you know. Come up with your meals. Do what you like. Get this ice out of there. Put the ice in there. More pieces off. There we go. I chose, and you don't have to, but I chose to end mine with the cream of mushroom, cream of chicken mix, tuna, pea, what do we have had left over, everything left over, and then I put the mushrooms on top. I'm going to put cheese on this, and yes, it's all the way to the top, and I'm going to have to put a pan underneath of it when I bake it, but you're just going to warm it up. Melt the cheese, warm everything up, blend the flavors together. I'm doing this on here only because I'm waiting on cornbread to cook. And this is what I'm taking to my parents, and we're going to have to eat tonight. So, get creative. Be back with the cornbread. Not only does it smell amazing, but it looks amazing too. See how beautiful that looks. Now you want to take a knife and poke in it. It should not move easily, and there should be nothing that comes off on that knife. If there is, put it in for another 5 minutes. 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. And there's the cornbread. I cannot cut it yet because it is super hot. So you have to let it sit for a little bit while the rest of your food cooks. And because you don't want to cut it while it's hot, it will absolutely fall apart. But maybe I'll get some pictures at dinner.